It is time to take the Westinghouse motor on this Lakewood P223 apart for cleaning and oiling. I have another P223 over there. That one has a Macmillan motor, and I'm pretty sure I already cleaned that one out and oiled it. But I got both of these last year, so this will be this thing's first cleaning. Closer look at the Westinghouse motor. I think that one is in slightly better shape. Yeah, the paint on this one is in better shape and it's not missing anywhere near as many slats. Both grills are now off. Now I have to pull the blade off the motor shaft, and that can sometimes be a bit of a challenge because these get stuck on there pretty good sometimes. So I'm going to take this thing over and put it on the floor, kneel on the frame and try to pull the blade off. Well, I finally got the blade off. It would not come off easily. I had to use the 3-jaw puller to get it started, and then I was able to pull it off the rest of the way. But yeah, blade is in good shape. It's really not dirty anywhere except for inside the hub. Gonna have to wash that out. And here's the puller that I used. This motor is pretty dusty, but it spins very free. Still gonna take it apart and give it a good oiling. I'm curious to see what the amp draw is when this thing is unloaded, so I'm going to turn it on high. And that's what we're at. Medium and low. Well, the motor runs smooth and it's quiet, so I think it's in pretty good shape. I'm going to vacuum all this crap off of here and then take it apart. Looks like I'm probably going to have to use sandpaper on the shaft if I want to get it to go through that bearing. Motor's opened up. Here's the rotor. Pretty dusty in there. Bunch of, I don't know what that is, either plaster dust or sawdust. But it's very fine, whatever it is, so I'm going to start vacuuming this out. One thing that's nice about these Westinghouse motors is the bearings. You can see there's a hole right there, and that's to allow oil in from the wick that surrounds it. These fans have, pretty much all fans with sleeve bearings have porous bearings, so the oil seeps through the bearing, but this one actually has holes on it, and all of the other Westinghouse motors that I've seen are like that as well. I got the motor as clean as I could. I wiped off the windings to get some of that dust off, and cleaned off the inside of the motor halves. So yeah, it's looking a lot better now. I'm going to wipe down the inside of the cabinet because there's a lot of that fine dust in here as well. I think it's sawdust. I went a step further and actually blew the windings off with the air compressor with my air sprayer tool. So they're a lot cleaner now. Sprayed out those vent holes in the rotor. So this motor's ready to go back together. I just have to take the grills and the blade outside to wash them, and then we can put it back together all the way. Got to make sure we put oil in the back bearing and the front bearing, and of course get some on the wick around it. Obviously we can add some from the oil port too, and put oil on the shafts before you put them in too. So put this back together now. Motor is all back together and it runs just fine. There's a good spin down time. took the blade outside and washed it, and I washed the grills off too, so I'm going to put the blade back on now and the grills, and we'll test it. Alright, all put back together. It's definitely going to spray some water because the grills and the blade are still wet, but let's start it up on high. I'm going to show it coming up to speed on the amp meter. Yeah, it's not bad. Now I can actually use this thing on a regular basis.